Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Grandon Group. Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team presents the Lockbox. For those of you who listen on the podcast, it is still Arizona Real Estate Showcase, so we hope you're enjoying it. So anyways, first of all, I want to give a special thanks to you guys, because without you, the listeners and the viewers, we wouldn't have a show. And every week we seem to get more and more people, which is great. And I also want to thank my great co-host, Angela. How you doing?
Hey.
VIP Mortgage, the Hendricks team.
Yeah.
How's
absolutely.
mortgages going?
It's busy.
So I actually had a couple emails this week, so I have to address this before we get to our killer guest today. It's going to be good. But so anyway, we also have a company called instantrenters.com.
Okay.
Where people, we don't do property management, but people come in and they're like, hey, we need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Scottsdale, Phoenix, Chandler, wherever. Can you help us find a rental? And we do it. It's a complimentary service through our brokerage and through the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team. So one of the things we want to talk about were, we're getting a lot of emails with everything coming out about the not having to pay rent with this whole virus thing that was out there and stuff. So, originally this is going to be a great episode, but there is such thing as a deadbeat renter. And I don't want to attack anybody, because there's people that legitimately cannot make their payments.
Right.
But then you have your other ones that we call them money grabbers, and they're the ones who purposely don't pay rent. They can go buy cigarettes, brand new iPhones, all that, and they don't pay their rent. And so those are the ones we have an issue with. So where I'm going with that is that you got to watch this when you're renting houses and stuff, that you get somebody who actually has a job, but if they lose it, it's legit. Unlike professional, I call them basically a professional deadbeat that will go in there and they try to grab money. So and the other day we had a call and guys like, hey, trying to get a hold of the landlord to get money from him so he'll move, then trying to get money from the agents. It's just one of those things you have to watch. It's kind of the bad part of this business.
Yeah, and there is. With any business, there's a good part and a bad part, and you just have to really know who you're working with, right?
Absolutely,
and protect yourself.
And it's important to use professionals,
Absolutely.
So use a realtor to rent a house.
Exactly.
It doesn't cost you anything. And but in the mortgage business, you've got kind of the same thing where you get people that will run you through the entire process, and then all of a sudden, I'm going with this loan company.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't happen a whole lot, and with us. And I would say the reason behind it is because when we are doing that pre-qualification, we're going deep. We're peeling back the layers. We're asking, why do you want to move here? Or why do you want to move in this particular area? What are you comfortable with right now for a payment, for a mortgage payment, or for, if you're renting? So we're not one of those lenders that we're going to pick up the phone and say, hi, great, what's your credit score? How much money do you make? Where do you want to live? And write a pre-qual. That's not how we do things. So a lot of the clients that we work with, they really do become friends because we do establish a relationship from beginning to end then years to come.
Absolutely. Do you find a lot of people that are scared to give you information?
I think that is our job, to make sure that we are, like I said, peeling back those layers so that we can earn the trust. Because when people are calling in, let's face it, you're calling in to get pre-qualified. That means somebody's going to qualify you on whether or not you're able to do this thing you really want to do. So I think our job is to really disarm them and to kind of let them know, hey, we're on your side. So we, like I said, peel back those layers and establish some trust there before we even go into those questions of what's your credit and those personal questions, right?
No, absolutely. And for the most part, there's not a lot of bad stuff in real estate. Mm-hmm. So I know we're saying stuff about, because there's great renters and there's great buyers, great sellers.
There are. We work with a lot of clients who are in a position to, maybe they're not able to qualify for a home right now, so they're currently renting, but we put them on a roadmap. We give them a plan on, okay, if you do, these 3 steps, it will help raise your credit. Or we're really just involved to help them reach that end goal, which is home ownership.
Absolutely,
So,
which
yeah.
in Arizona is a great spot.
It is.
And so over the course of the few weeks here, we've had some pretty good guests on the show, don't you think?
Yes.
We've had some wild people. So the other day, I'm at the gym with my son, my 15-year-old,
Okay.
and we're working out, and he's a track star, and he's trying to build his speed up. So he's sitting there cranking on his legs, and I'm just like, do this leg, get it moving and stuff like that. And so then this guy approaches us, and he comes out. First of all, we saw him watching us and stuff, and we're like, oh. We don't have a mask on. He's probably going to say something, but he wasn't wearing a mask, so it doesn't matter. So anyways, he comes over and introduces himself, and he's like, listen, guys, you got to do this. I was a strength coach in the NFL and this and that. And super cool guy.
Wow,
So we get
okay.
talking, and my son's like, wow. And then, this guy is taller, he stands over tall of us because he's like 6'10" or something like that. And then so we get talking, and then he owns a water company.
Interesting.
It's called Living Water. And
Okay.
so anyway.
Water's living force.
Oh, water's living force. And
Okay.
so, anyways, we have Robert Black with us today.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much. Really
Yeah.
Happy to be here. I really appreciate the invite.
No, it's great. I'm glad you're
Yeah.
in here. I mean, before we get into the water stuff, so you're a professional golfer.
I was.
You've been around the NBA, been around the NFL.
Working with athletes, yeah.
So what's it like being a professional golfer in a state where everybody is a professional golfer?
You know, golf is probably the most frustrating and the most satisfying sport you could ever get involved with. It's going to get you both ways. But it's basically you. That was the thing that really appealed to me. I did very well in everything that I competed with as an athlete. I came from an amazing family of athletes, both my mother and father. My dad graduated from college with 16 letters.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I mean, and he set records. He's actually in the Big Sky Hall of Fame. And so he was a colonel, he retired colonel in the Marine Corps. So we were around a very athletic family. Mm-hmm. My mother was a phenomenal skier herself. She went to the national championship 2 years in NASCAR, so, my brother and myself, my sister wasn't quite in as much in the athletics, but she had some talent if she wanted to go that way. But, for me, the athletics was just a way to really challenge yourself and to thrive. And my father, when we were stationed over in Hawaii, I played baseball, football, was doing very well in those. But in the off season, away from that, I was just going to the beach all the time. So my dad says, come on, let me get you to start coming down to the golf course with me. And I went, and all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, this is kind of fun. And I picked it up. And then next thing I know, I'm playing in the Junior World Golf program there, and then I'm going to the Junior World Golf Championship they have at San Diego. Did that 5 years in a row, and I just was like, wait a minute, I can really enjoy this. And then I was one of the top junior players to where I made a trip to Japan. So we were over in Japan playing in tournaments over there. We had an exchange program where they'd send their top junior players over 1 year, then we'd send some of ours over. So all of a sudden, I'm just seeing things that, at the age, 16, you just don't really see that much in sports, unless you really are some really elite athlete, maybe of the Olympic style category. So all of a sudden, I started to realize, if I really work at this might get me to college. And sure enough, through some of the top tournaments that I played in, I got some recognition, and then I had offers, and turned out I went to the University of Florida.
Fantastic.
And a golf scholarship. And so that at that time, this is back in 1977 when I started school there. It was one of the top premier teams. In fact, they just had the collegiate tournament out here in Scottsdale over at Grayhawk, and Pepperdine ended up, beating Oklahoma in a great match. But, it was one of those things that, whether I was able to excel as an athlete, there was always great business opportunities with it too. And that's the one thing my dad always kept, pointing out to me. And the other thing that also is that there's less chance of having a life-threatening injury occur in golf in most cases that could possibly happen playing baseball or football. And I actually, playing football, I had a couple of my friends during that time in high school that did get their knees blown out. So that kind of made me think, all right, So, yeah, it opened up a lot of pathways for me.
So you lived in Hawaii for a while.
Yeah, yep. Lived there for 7 years.
Watch how we lead this in. You'll love this, Angela. So being out there with the ocean and stuff, it's kind of all one.
Right.
Kind of find yourself and Mother Nature and everything else in there, which brings us to your product here.
Yeah, water.
Yeah, so the water.
In fact, the islands of Hawaii themselves have some amazing water.
Right.
Just like, as everybody's familiar with Fiji, okay? And Why is that water so different and better? Well, it's because it is the natural water that Mother Earth herself creates for us. And it's actually, what's different with that water is it's what is really called a structured water, okay? And structured water is what every living cell of every living organism has to have for that cell to function. And what's unique with that is that it has the right electrical charge, it has the right, energy, frequency. And so it's amazing the harmony when you have water like that has with your body itself. Now, being an athlete as I was, and through the years myself, I also did things as competing as a triathlete and everything like that. We always knew, like, you got to hydrate. But there was many times where you could drink a lot of water and yet you still never really got hydrated. Mm-hmm. And so as my life and my different careers kind of moved into different areas, I end up, I'd lived up in, I've been on the East Coast for a while, and, with the golf and all that. And then it was back in, I think, 93 when I decided that I wanted to get back out West Coast. My family, I was born in Bozeman, Montana. So we used to come out and visit my grandparents a lot. And I just loved the West Coast. And my parents at this time were living in Washington also. And so when I came out, it was like, okay, yeah, this is more my environment. But, with the things that I was doing, I used to ski a lot, do that, you're always drinking. So, I realized that, you've got to hydrate, so you got to get the right type of water. Well, what was kind of interesting is things continued with my career, and I, educated myself, and I still did some things with personal training. You would see things come up, alkaline water, you'd see this, add this to your water and all that. And a lot of the stuff seemed to make sense, but there always still was just kind of that situation where I never really felt that my body was really where it probably could be. Well, interesting, when I moved down, I was living in Washington for a while, then moved to Portland, Oregon. And then from there, I ended up coming down to California. And I'd always wanted to get somewhere near Tahoe, because I've been to Tahoe before, it's beautiful. And I had an opportunity to go into work for a company called Life Source Water, which does water filtration. And tremendous company, great product. So I really became that much more of a authority in water, based on, pretty much, the traditional knowledge of filtration, things of that nature. And so, at that time I thought, okay, this is the best type of water. We're filtering it. We're getting the contaminants out, just what people need. But there still was something that, I always, did feel like, sometimes I still didn't really feel like, it was where it should probably need to be. But, this is what we had. Well, then I got a call from one of my customers. And this is many years after I'd worked with the company, and I was no longer working with them. In fact, at the time, I'd already had left doing a regular job like everybody else and had pursued going back playing golf professionally again, trying to get on the senior tour. So I get a call from one of my customers, and she was saying, hey, I'm thinking of adding something to our filtration system that, we have in our house that you put in. And I said, well, what do you think about adding? She goes, well, it's called structured water. And I said, well, what's that? And she says, well, it's really cool. And she started telling me things. Well, she sent me to a website. Well, I started reading information that I just went, whoa, I didn't know this. I didn't even know this actually existed this way. So in my own curiosity, I just started reading more. And the more I read, I said, wow, if this is this good, then everybody needs to know about this, So I had enough desire then to say, well, okay, if this is that good, then I got to find the right people to contact. So I had the opportunity to reach out to Natural Action Technology, who is, in my opinion, the best manufacturer in the industry. Amazing company, amazing products. And I was fortunate enough to meet and speak with Jonathan Butts, the CEO of the company. And we just hit it off. So I finally said to him, I said, look, I would like to help make more people aware of this, because this definitely looks to me like it'd make a big difference. So anyway, like anybody, I said, well, before I can really promote this, I got to try it myself. So I end up getting, this is what is called our portable unit, okay? So this little unit you can take with you anywhere. And all you have to do is just run the water right through it, and it literally will restructure the water. Now, one of the other terms we like to use too, besides structured water, is water revitalization, because that's really what we are doing. We are bringing water back to the natural state that it is. And what most people don't realize is water is actually a living form. And when water is in its natural state, it actually can be programmed like a computer chip. And this can be kind of good and bad. because one of the problems that we have with the water that we get is that the water, because of all the things that it's now been exposed to, becomes basically imprinted with both good and bad information. And because of the way it's pumped through pipes and because of the way it's recycled and sent back to us, by the time we actually are getting that water, it's a dead water with really no energy in it whatsoever. Well, what's really interesting about structured water is the energy field, the magnetic field, the really powerful living force that's in this water. Hence, that's why I end up calling my company Water's Living Force, because it really is a living force. So as I started now taking my water, and I would filter it first, and then I'd run it through my unit here. As I'm going to the gym working out, in about a week and a half, I'm noticing that I'm getting more reps than what I normally did, and my recovery rate has increased dramatically better. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely physically feeling a change. And I'm thinking, wow, there really is something to this. So I end up doing a little bit more with it, end up talking with John a little bit more, and then finally I said, look, I want to be involved with what you're doing. How can I do that? And so I basically got myself set up, as a dealer with the company, so I can help carry that information. Mm-hmm. And they are we're actually, the company itself is doing some amazing things. But, we've interacted with doctors. We've had some really interesting trials being put together, because the fact of it is that, as you can kind of see here on these books, the titles in front, these are books that have been published by leading doctors. And you can see the titles on her: Water Cures, Drugs Kill. You're not thirsty, you're not sick, you're thirsty. Most people do not realize that we are always in a constant state of dehydration. Even no matter, you can have your alkaline water, you can be drinking your Fiji, you can be drinking all of this, what we think is good water. But the fact of it is, because it has gone through processing, because it's gone through pumping, it's been affected, it's been changed. And because water does have a memory, that memory now is basically conveying to your body a lot of times very negative influences. So even when you have a filtration system, a filter system removes particulars, removes a certain percentage, but it doesn't change the water memory. Mm-hmm. And so the problem you got, even though you filter this water, you still, whatever's been in that water still has a memory in that water that still can be conveyed to your body, that can still have detrimental effects possibly. Now, the unique thing is when you get it structured, we wipe the memory clean. So we now have an open platform of thriving, energized, healthy water that will literally help our body balance itself. And if anybody really understands very much about what happens when we get sick, when we start to have certain issues occurring with us, it's because our body's out of balance. And I would guarantee you that in that situation, there definitely is dehydration being one of the biggest contributing factors to that. In fact, if you take a look at what is the first thing that happens when you start to have inflammation in the body, dehydration is one of the biggest contributing factors. When you talk about, as people get older, why is it that so many of them suffer from arthritis? It's because they don't hydrate enough. And it's that lack of hydration which is now causing the calcium buildup, the rigidity, the lack of circulation, all of those things that lead toward their problems with arthritis and many other things. So for me, it's really become very much a passion for me to just really help educate people that by putting the right water in your environment, you will be totally amazed on how you might really notice a lot of things start to change, and how you feel, how you react, how you deal with stress, how even the environment around your home will change, especially with your pets. I mean, more and more people now always talk about, man, I can't believe how often you hear about people with their dogs or cats, they got cancer, they have this. Well, it's the same thing with us. We're in a toxic environment. But if you have the right water, what is water supposed to do with your body? First and foremost, detox. Get what should not be in your body out of your body. Then it's also the transportation of the nutrients that the body needs, that the cells need, the oxygen, okay? So if we literally now are able to provide a water to where our body doesn't have to go through any stress, any hard activity to break it down, to get it to structured water, we've just made things simple, because the minute you drink that, you're getting immediate hydration. Now, what I found myself is that initially when I got it, I was drinking a lot of this water because my body was literally telling me, you're dehydrated, we need this. But then all of a sudden I got to my plateau. I'm hydrated. Now all of a sudden I'm not having to drink as much, yet I don't have that bloated feeling. I mean, how many times have you had that where you've drank a lot of water and you got that sloshy feeling in your stomach, and you're like, God, I hate this. And then you're like, what's going on here? Well, basically you've put in dead water where your body can't use it. So all your body's doing is saying like, well, we're going to wait for the bladder to get to that point, and now it's going to say, okay, I got to go relieve this, get rid of it, you know? So you're basically putting junk in and just putting junk back out. When you hydrate yourself properly, though, that doesn't happen. So a lot of things change. I mean, it's just your digestion's going to be better. You know, it's amazing. There are so many positive things that you get by putting this revitalized structured water into your body that it is a no-lose situation whatsoever. And I've had so much pleasure with so many of the clients that I've had on listening to them say, Robert, you know what? We're noticing this, we're noticing that. This has changed, this has changed. And, you know, you can even use this on the irrigation, you know, for your plants. I mean, we have farms using this, seeing results that they've never seen before. They're not having to use pesticides. They're not having the problems with the bacteria, the mold. That's one of the neat things about the structured water, too. Because you have more oxygen in that water, it kills bad bacteria. So, for example, a homeowner putting like a whole house system like this on, yes, this little thing right here can go on houses at 2,500 square feet and below, okay? And it literally will take care of all the water throughout your house. And guess what? You're not going to have to worry about scrubbing your toilets out because of that ring around the toilet.
Oh, does it take care of the stains?
It gets rid of the bad bacteria that causes that. And so you're going to have less cleanup in your showers because water in its natural state is Earth's best solvent for cleaning everything.
Is that a filter you need to change quite a bit?
No, it's maintenance free, service free. You put it in, you're done.
Forever.
Forever. If you move, you can disconnect it, take it with you. Now, for example, if you live in an apartment like I do right now, I use my shower unit. So I literally just put this right on my shower. And the beautiful thing about this, I take this with me when I travel. So no matter where I go, with these two little things, I'm ensuring myself to have the best water I can bathe in, the best water I can drink. You know, I mean, I could even drink the water out of the shower if I wanted to. You know, but again, it's a simplicity of just putting me in a very healthy environment.
So with Arizona being so health conscious,
Yes.
and we do have a lot of people here, so you're saying just even taking a bath or a shower in with regular water is not good for you?
Well, people
Structured
forget,
water.
what's the largest organ on your body?
Your skin.
Your skin. How much do you think your skin's absorbing when you have contaminants and things like that into
Right.
the water? What's really interesting, and again, this is, you know, from just the body itself being able to hydrate and clean itself out, many clients that have had skin issues, that have had certain health issues, are no longer having those same problems. You know, and I'm not going to make any medical claims or anything of that nature, but if you understand the physiology of how the body works, if the body is in balance, then the body has its own amazing mechanisms to clean out what it doesn't need. And most of the time when we are having problems, whether it's acne, psoriasis, things of that nature, it's because there is toxicity in the body that the body
Right.
is having a difficulty getting rid of. Now, if all of a sudden we can assist the body in doing that, what do you think is going to change? You know, and so that to me is what has been very enjoyable about this, is that we're bringing in a very simple way that you can live in a healthier, more stable environment, you know. And think of it this way too, when you take a shower, we've got chlorine in there. Well, is chlorine gas a concern? Sure it is. Have you ever been in that situation where all of a sudden you turn the shower on and you almost get knocked out because the chlorine is so strong?
Right.
Well, you're not going to have problems like that. Because what's unique about what our system does, and it's not a filter, but there is a molecular change that occurs through the restructuring of the water. And we've got, when you go to my website, there's one of the videos we have is how it works, and it gives a very simple explanation of how we're literally able to separate the good from the bad. So now the good is what thrives, and the bad itself no longer poses any problems.
And where's the website at?
It's waterslivingforce.com, and that's WATERS, living, LIVING, force, FORCE.com. And on that, you'll find some great videos, and you'll even see an organic farmer talking about how they use our system now. We've got some clients down in Tucson. You'll see a great story of how they took their 4.5 acres in the Tucson, in the Sahara Desert, and now have a thriving farm now, where their pool, their jacuzzi, and their house is all.
Now, this is something anybody can afford, if you live in an apartment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're looking at our shower unit is $299. And this will last you a lifetime. You're done, you're finished, okay? The little portable unit here, that we have, the 2 units that we've got our gray unit, our light gray unit, which is just $299, and then we have our cobalt blue. We no longer are making the bright white anymore. So we've got our cobalt blue, and the cobalt blue has got kind of a unique relevance to it because that color cobalt blue has got some benefits with it too. That goes for $349. The HD 12 here, which is for houses that are 1,200 feet or smaller inside, that goes for $11.99. And then for houses beyond 2,500, you could have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. We've got our HD 24, which is larger. And, that's the beautiful thing. You put those in and you're done. We also make commercial units. There's really no size or shape that we cannot design a system for that's going to allow you now to have the best water you can possibly get for your health, for your well-being, but also even for operation of equipment. We have many people in the industry now using this because they now don't have the maintenance problems where they have the calcium buildup, things of that nature. Like, for example, if you take a restaurant where, they've got all that cleaning they have to do in their kitchen, they've got their, misters outside. Well, with our structured water, you're not going to get all that coagulation, all the calcium building up that leads into the maintenance, the cleaning, the uptake, and things of that nature. Again, this water itself gives you a clean, beneficial environment ongoing, which is just amazing.
No, that is.
Yes.
Angela's, because we have hard water here in Arizona.
We do, yes. I'd like to say that I'm a fairly clean person,
Right.
and we clean our house, but like you were talking about, like the ring around the toilets.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is just we have hard water. I don't have any type of filtration system.
Sure. Well,
or
and you don't have
soft
to have
water
one.
or
You don't have
anything
to have
like
one
that.
either. With
Right.
ours, yeah.
Yeah.
Having a filtration system does give you a little bit of an advantage, and that being is that because you have reduced the amount of contaminants being removed, that means less of the energy of the structured water is going to have to be used to get that water into a better structured environment.
Right.
So you're able to get a higher level of energy now from that water because it's not having to work as hard to recorrect it. Okay. And so, like for me, I've got a one of those simple. It's a pure. It can hold 30 cups of water. Where I got the little filter in there, and I fill that up with my regular tap water, and then I let it run through that, and then I've got 2 20-ounce cups, because what I do with my portable unit here, I want to have a little bit more of a higher energy in the water, so I run the water through this 3 times, okay? And that allows me to get more of that magnetic frequency and the power of the water created. This, because this is bigger, it has a bigger volume in there. The amount of energy being created in this, of course, is going to be much more than this. And so by me running it through her 3 times brings me into about the same relative of the energy that I'd be getting by having a whole house system put in my home. But what's really interesting is clients that I've had that, for example, before I moved here, I've been a new resident of Arizona now since the end of September of last year, 2020. And I love being here at Scottsdale. And when I used to play golf professionally, I was very familiar with the area with tournaments that I played in around the area. And I always knew I was probably going to come here. Quality of people, the environment. To me, it's a much prettier desert. Okay?
Right.
And so anyway, I had clients that had got systems from me, and then they would come down here to Arizona for their getaways during the wintertime. Well, when they came down, they're like, oh my God, because they were so used to the water they had at home, which was structured. They came down here and said, we can't even handle this water. So they called me up, okay, what do we need to do? I said, well, you guys are only there for what, 4 months, 5 months out of the year? Just get the shower unit, because it's like a little condo or something
Right.
like that. I said, if you want to get the whole house, you can. But they're like, okay, so they get the shower unit, they get the portable unit. Oh, this is great. It's like being back home again because now they got great water. But I'll tell you, taking a shower in structured water is the most life-changing feeling like you cannot believe because your skin, your hair, it feels so different. Now, people that, for example, have the water softeners where you got the salt in there.
Right.
You got a little bit of that slick feeling that you get from the water softeners, okay? Well, this is totally different because this is actually water that literally your body is sucking up like a sponge because you're literally hydrating your skin. You're actually enhancing the natural oils in your skin. And so what really is interesting when you're bathing in our revitalized structured water, you're going to notice that your shampoo is going to, shampoo up a lot easier. Soap comes off the body so easy. And literally when you get out, it's like you're wiping the water off of your body because the natural oils allows the water to come off much easier. And you don't get sort of like that sticky feeling that a lot of people are used to when they get out of the shower. That's why they have to put so much lotions on. Many of my clients, especially the women, are no longer spending a lot of money on the cosmetics that they were getting to try to hydrate their skin.
So your water's making you better looking.
Nice.
Of course. Well,
Okay.
think about it. What allows our skin to look healthy is hydration. So if you're hydrating your body better, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, I just turned 62. You know,
I know you look good for 62.
and, you know, for me, it's just been great because I'm able to still train and lift when I was 28, 30 years old.
Wow.
You know, and I just, you know, again, I go to the gym, I work out hard, but I never get that sore, kind of beat up feeling after a really hard workout because my body is so well hydrated now. And because my body is constantly detoxing, I never get the lactic acid buildup. So for an athlete, and, you know, we've got many athletes now using this to where, like, one of them, who was a former star in Major League Baseball. He's also an announcer now from ESPN. Chris Singleton, the main reason why he got our system is he used to cramp up all the time, and he was taking hot yoga, and he could never complete a hot yoga class because he just couldn't make it. He started using our system, and all of a sudden he's like, wow, look at this. So he now is sharing it with all of his other, you know, baseball buddies that are still out there playing. In fact, he said that if he'd had this knowledge of structured water when he was still playing, that he probably would have been able to extend his career longer.
Wow.
You know?
So when people want this, do they just reach out to you, or do you have a
they
sales
can
team?
go directly to my website. My phone number where you can call me is 916-698-1846. One of the things I really like doing with anybody, you know, that's interested in this is I'm more than happy to get together with them to help educate them some. I mean, I became aware of this because I took the time to read, and I was reading information from doctors, from research, from scientific studies that have been done. That's what showed me that this does make a difference. This will make a difference. And so, you know, many times with people, I think when they become more aware of really the power that this provides, you know, it changes a lot of things. You know, I have many people now that are in the wellness industry that are becoming more aware of the benefit of this. You know, how they can actually get better results with their patients because, again, if you're in a constant state of dehydration, you're always going to be battling that problem with inflammation. Well, if all of a sudden we can just get you hydrated and you're not inflamed, just think about how many simple things might start to easily change and you no longer run into the problems. Same thing with the animals. This is really fun when I sit down with clients that have pets. So I'll say, well, let's see what your animals think. So we'll take the original bowl of water that they give to their cat or their dog, and then we'll get another bowl, and then we'll restructure that water and put it in the other bowl. The animals always go to the structured water.
Wow.
Because they can immediately sense the energy and the frequency in that water, which we don't have the same keenness to. Horses, oh my gosh. I mean, I've got horse trainers now using this water with their horses, eliminating so many of the issues that they've had. And especially for those guys when they travel, you know, they never know what kind of water they're getting at the next event they go to. Well, here, they don't have to worry about that. RV owners, the same thing. You know, you pull up to an RV park, you're not always going to be getting the best water coming out of that spigot that you're now putting into your RV. We can take care of that problem in a heartbeat. So we're just giving people the simplicity. And then the other thing that to us is very important about this is we're helping eliminate people spending the money on the plastic bottles. You know, because we all know how detrimental those are to the environment and really to your overall health. I mean, if you really knew what the chemicals were in that being leached into your water that you now are drinking because you want healthy water, you probably would never drink it. But, you know, with us,
Nope.
we've given a simplicity to it. So, you know, for me, every day, I just fill up my little jug here, and I'm ready to go. You know, I never have to worry about it. And even if I'm out traveling, and let's say I'm not going to bring this to the restaurant, I'll take this to the restaurant. I just tell them to bring me 2 glasses. One glass with the water and the other one empty so I can. And people look at me
Wow.
like, what are you doing? I said, I'm structuring my water. I want to have healthy water for me when I eat my meal tonight.
Well, and this is perfect for Arizona because Arizona is a place where people love this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's also, you know, when we think about it, you know, people take a lot of pride in their homes. Imagine now that you could literally have a healthier landscape around your home and you're using less water. Or, for example, let's say you're a pool owner. How would you like to be a pool owner and you'll never have to worry about get calcium buildup or the grout and the tile starting to crack and everything? Our pool system that we have, once you put that on, you literally have a pool, and I've got 2 videos that I can send people where we literally, one of our pool owners he's got an inside pool. He drinks the water right out of his pool.
Wow.
And all he did when he set up his pool was have his big sand filter and then use our pool system. And he's sitting there, he says, look, that's all I did. And look at this. I get thirsty, I just drink the water out of my pool.
Wow.
He doesn't have to use any chemicals whatsoever in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, so it.
Well, I mean, this is a perfect place for it, but you sell worldwide.
Oh yeah, yeah. We the company is global. We are excited about. We've got some new products that we're just finishing doing a beta test on. It's called our carbon gene units, which look like this, but John Bunch, the designer, the CEO of the company, is throwing in a little bit more of some unique technology into these. And it literally allows us to even charge the water up even more, make it even more powerful. And you can even do it with wine. I mean, for example, if do you like to drink wine?
I do.
Okay. So
Martinis.
Oh, I like those too.
some of my clients that were very big, you know, because especially in California, wine's a big thing. So they used to go out and get the really nice wine, okay, because they loved the way it tastes. Well, they found that they could actually take the cheaper wine, run it through this, and they actually like the flavor of that better than the expensive stuff.
Oh,
So they're not buying the expensive stuff, and they actually are getting a healthier type of wine. Now, one of the benefits when you actually run alcohol through these things, whether it's wine or beer or anything like that, especially with the wine, is you won't get a wine hangover. Because the way that we literally are changing the molecular structure where the sulfites or the tannins are, other byproducts that could be the contributing factors on why you really get that hangover, you'll still get a nice buzz, but you won't get that kind of wipeout scenario. So I've actually probably made some of my customers more wine drinkers now than they were before, but they enjoy it. And they really just love the subtleness, you know, to the flavor. They can actually get more of the distinct flavor that previously they really quite couldn't get. And same thing with beer, you know. Now, when you do use something like that, it's always good to clean these out, okay? Because if you are running different things, and it's very easy, you can actually stick it in your dishwasher.
Wow.
Or you can use, and I like doing this because it's kind of fun, is I take a cup of distilled white vinegar, and then a tablespoon of baking soda, shake it up, and it all foams and everything, you know, so I'm like, this is cool. And I just shake it a couple times, you know, for about 10, 12, maybe 15 seconds, then just rinse it out with hot water.
Nice.
I'm
Simple
excited
enough.
that you're going to be able to, because you and your husband like boxed wine, don't you?
Boxed wine?
Box wine, so you can make it like.
I don't know. I've never actually tried boxed wine, but now I can.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
It's just, you know, and again, what it is that the more people can actually become aware of being in harmony with their body, the more they're going to be able to really enjoy living. You know, that's always been my philosophy, because if we're healthy, we have no limitations.
Absolutely.
But it's when we start to have the health problems that all of a sudden we now start to have the limitations, which for many people can create a lot of frustration. And so if by just getting the right type of water, we can literally get you to stay healthier and start to really enjoy life more, win-win for everybody.
No, that's great.
Absolutely.
So let the viewers know how they can reach out to you, your website and
Again,
everything.
you can go to Waters Living Force, and that's WATERSLIVING Force, FORCE.com. And my number is 916-698-1846. And glad to get together with anybody who's interested. Or you've got also on my website, I've got a boxer where you can put in information, send questions, things of that nature. But this, you know, we're so confident with our products too, we give a 90-day money-back guarantee.
Oh, that's great.
I've never had a product returned to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you throw in any golf lessons?
Yeah, we could probably work something out like that too, you know. And, you know, the golf industry is another avenue I want to look to talking to, because, you know, especially in the agricultural ways, we can just change everything and, you know, reduce less water and actually create a better environment, you know. So,
Well, in
That's
Arizona,
incredible.
everyone loves their pets. Everyone's healthy. So this is a
Absolutely.
great product,
Yeah.
especially, you know, for your house. And
Yeah. Pets, kids.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Well, you know, and-
absolutely.
the thing about kids too, to me, that really is important, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, is nowadays so many of the kids right now just have way too many sugar things being given to them. You know, kids won't drink water because they don't like the taste of it. But here you've got something where all of a sudden they are going to say, wow, this is really cool. And if you really want to have fun with the kids, is, you know how you can make popsicles, you know, where you get the water mix? You start making healthy popsicles. I mean, you could literally
yeah.
make something where you're taking the organic fruits, and they've got the mixtures out there where you can get it, where you could literally make a healthy, beneficial popsicle or whatever you want for your kids, that's going to be beneficial for them.
Yeah.
Not something where they're being, all that fructose junk and all that stuff that we know is not good
that's
for them.
fantastic. That is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
See, we got some great guests on
Yes.
here,
Very
Angela.
exciting. Yeah.
No, so yeah,
Absolutely.
for those of you who want to meet Robert Black, great guy. I'm glad we met at the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
And stuff like that. Angela, give the
Yeah.
viewers your number and information.
Of course. So if you're looking to refinance or get pre-qualified for a new home, you can contact us at 623-979-5523 or by email, Hendrick Team at vipmtginc.com.
And you're going to go out and get some new water today?
Yeah, I am. Water and sprouts.
Hey, there we go. It's been a great day today.
It has.
Well, Robert, thanks again for coming on here and stuff.
Well, I really want to thank you, Jason, for giving me the opportunity. And, for any of the people that do go to my website, take the time to listen to the doctors on the website because you're going to hear some great information there. And especially from Dr. Gokul, he's got some information that all of a sudden will really wake you up about how important this type of water is really on helping the
No,
body.
again, this is
Yeah,
perfect for
it's
Arizona
incredible.
and stuff.
Yeah, thanks
Well,
for
Robert,
sharing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Guys,
And
again, thank you very much. I really appreciate
Angela,
it.
great seeing you
Yeah,
and
you
stuff.
too,
And
always.
everybody, I am Jason Grandon with the Grandon Group. You guys just watched another episode of The Lockbox. We'll see you next week. Thanks
Bye-bye,
again.
everybody.